been 7 to 10 days, and your kombucha has been in a dark, cool place, fermenting away. So now what do we do with it? All right. You need to withhold at least 1 cup of the kombucha for your next batch. So make sure your hands are very clean before you touch the SCOBY. Remember, this is a live SCOBY, so you don't want to get any dirt or anything on it so that you kill it. So nice clean hands. You're gonna pull your SCOBY out. Now each time you make a batch of kombucha, your SCOBY is gonna get bigger. Now you can see mine's gotten 2 on here. You can split it whenever you like. You can give it to your chickens, your animals, whatever you like. Put it in your compost. Share it with friends. What a great way. I have tons of it. If you need some, let me know. I'll get you some of my SCOBY. But I started with probably a $50 size one, and now I'm up to all of this. Plus, I have another one going. So it grows fast, doubles every time you make it. So we're gonna take that, put that into our measuring cup. What I like to do is just give it a little stir to make sure everything's mixed up good in there. And then we're gonna pour out 1 cup, at least. Lift the SCOBYs up, make sure you got your 1 cup. Okay, we have my 1 cup, so we are good. So you're gonna take this, and I just take my cover from the thing and cover it up. And then this is gonna set to the side until we're ready to make the next batch. Set that aside, and now we can go ahead and start bottling this up. All right. So you can either use empty kombucha bottles from the store. This is how I started out. They work perfectly well. I have moved on to these new ones with a little closing cap. These are a little more tricky, especially when you have to burp it. So you'll see that later on. These are a little easier to burp. Make sure that these are very clean when you are using them. That's the big thing. I like to soak them in boiling hot water and make sure they're getting nice and clean. Oh, one more thing about the bottles is you have to make sure that they are rounded. You cannot have square bottles. They need to be round, and they need to be glass, no metal. So these are perfect. That's right, these are great. You've already got them, clean them out, reuse them. Once you're farther along, like me, you can start getting the ones you can get from Amazon. They're actually pretty cheap for them. So what we like to do is decide what flavors you're gonna make. You can make any kind of combination. Just don't use any fatty, like avocados. Those won't work very well. So fruits, vegetables, herbs, spices, whatever combination you can think of. So today what I did was I pureed up some frozen berries. My husband found that he likes it. These I can just pour in, it'll flavor it, and he doesn't have to strain it out later. He just drinks it with the puree in it. I also have some fresh ginger. I love ginger in the kombucha. It just gives it a nice flavor, and ginger is very good for you, so you can always throw some chunks of that in. And we're also going to make some with hibiscus leaves. The hibiscus flowers just makes a really nice flowery flavor. It's very good and gives it a nice bright reddish purple color. These I just got off of Amazon, and those work very well too. So now as for like if you're gonna use chunks like ginger or hibiscus, You're gonna have to strain it out before you drink it, which you'll see later when we open one up that's been already done. All right, so I have these little collapsible funnels that I got off of Amazon, of course. So I just put that inside the bottle top here, and it fits in there snug. So I take a 1 cup measuring cup. However you find it easiest to get this into there, do it. It doesn't matter how it gets in there, but this is the way that I found that I like to do it. It's not the only way to do it. You just pour it in there. We're gonna stick some of the pureed berry in this one. It's all to your desire how much you want to stick in there. I don't measure. I like my kombucha just plain. I don't put any flavoring in it. Just once in a while I'll make some that are flavored. So do whatever you like. There's lots of trial. I tried so many different flavors, so many different combinations, and then just find out what you like, and that's the way you do it. So we're gonna fill this right up to about this here ring. You need about 1 inch, half an inch or so of headspace. Because what's happening now is there's still little pieces of SCOBY floating around in here, and remember, that's alive. It's the active bacteria and yeast that are fermenting this and making it into healthy goodness for your gut. So once it goes in here and it's touching these berries are full of sugar, just natural sugars. I didn't put anything in them. They're just plain straight berries. And the SCOBY is going to start eating it. That's where all the bubbles are coming from. And it's going to start fermenting even more. That SCOBY's hungry. So we're going to feed it. And once you got that to where you need it, take your rag, clean off the top so we got a nice good seal, and then we're going to close that right up. So now it's closed. And then we're going to stick this back into a dark, cool place, and you're going to let it sit in there for up to another 3-4 days, however long you like. The longer you leave it, the more carbonation you're going to get. That SCOBY in there is eating all that sugar from the fruit, and it's technically just farting away, making carbonation. So it's going to carbonate your fermented tea. I do not like carbonation, so I only leave it in there 1, maybe 2 days. Some days I don't leave it at all. I just, right like this, into the fridge. Once it goes into the fridge, it will slow down the fermenting process, so it won't keep going. My husband likes it fermented, so I put it in 3-4 days for him. You just trial and error and see how many days you like it. Leave it in there. Sometimes if you leave it too long though, it will get really vinegary. But try and make sure to remember what day you're on. So, now if you have, say like hibiscus flowers, these are bigger. So, these we're just gonna stick in there, shove them down in there. Probably put maybe a tablespoon in. That seems to work the best. Remember, it's all trial and error, so. And I did a lot of it. This bag was full, so. Alright. So I think that looks good for now. So we got some hibiscus in there. I think some ginger sounds good too. So let's put some ginger in. Remember, whatever your heart's desire. So you can peel the ginger if you like. You don't necessarily, I've done it where I did not peel it at all. I just left the skin on, and cut it into little chunks and put it right in there. I feel if you peel it, it gets a little bit more of the ginger flavor in there. All right. So we got that, and we're just gonna cut it into some chunks. And remember, you want your chunks so that when it's done fermenting, you can get them back out. If they're too big and they get stuck in there, it's gonna be fun cutting it out of there.
All right, Beauty.
So nice and small. And I feel it flavors it better too when they're small. A lot more of that flavor in there. All right, so we have our hibiscus and our ginger in there. Oh, ginger smells amazing. All right, so now we just fill it up with our kombucha again. All right. When you are drinking this, or even when you're doing filling your bottles, you will see SCOBY floating around in there. It's perfectly fine to have it in there. It's fine for you to eat it. It won't hurt you. It's good for you. It's very good gut health. If you have bad gut health, I really suggest some kombucha. It'll get your gut back into order really nice. And on these hot days, it's so refreshing over a big glass of ice. I just love it. All right, so not quite as many bubbles as the berries had, but there still is some. So you'll find different fruits have different effects on that. So we're just gonna clean that off. Sorry, all my cats are being noisy in the background. All right, and we'll close this one up too. All right, so we got a couple ready to put in the cupboard. Dark, cool place, wherever it is. As long as it's dark and cool. We'll come back in a few days. Okay, I've got all the bottles filled. You can see it made 5 bottles. And I did have a little extra, so I just added it to start my next one. I don't waste any of it. So then you're gonna take this jar and you're gonna scrub it out really good. Hot, warm water. And we'll get it ready for the next batch. And you'll just keep going and repeating that cycle. I usually have 2 batches going at a time. One I like to do the second ferment with, which is what this is called. These are the second ferments because I'm letting them get carbonated. My other batch, I just let it sit on the counter and I drink it without any carbonation in it. I prefer it that way, so I just take it off of there. This is for, my husband will drink this, and sometimes I'll grab a bottle too if I just want a nice flavored one. Either way, they're both delicious, and I hope you try this because it's very good for you. Thank you for stopping by. Enjoy.